name's Britney Jean Spears. A country.
Well, I grew up in a really, really small town. It's called Kentwood, and it's like an hour away from New Orleans. I live in Louisiana. I'm a Southern girl, and I'm used to Cajun food and blues music, and I love where I come from because my neighborhood, I have like all my friends all around me, and like every day in the summertime, it was so convenient because we could all go over to one person's house and play video games and just do the slip and slide and go-karts. We just had so much fun. I had a wonderful childhood. The population in my hometown is like 1,200 people, so it's like really small. It's really, really small. Literally, you don't have to lock your doors where I'm from, and it's just, it's like that nice home feeling. So, was I popular in high school? I don't think so. I mean, to a certain extent. I mean, I had my friends that were, I left school kind of when you started getting, like, the popular crowd, like in high school. Because, like, I was in the 9th grade, and that's when, you started going to homecomings and proms and stuff like that. And that's right when I started, right when this older guy, he asked me to homecoming. I thought I was everything, and I thought I was popular then or whatever. But then after that, I left, and I started singing, and I started dealing with my career. But I wouldn't say I was a nerd or a dork, but I wouldn't say I was like the cheerleader, popular person, because I wasn't a cheerleader. I was always really doing my own thing. I was always like reading books and stuff like that. My first love was dancing, really, because when I was like 3 years old or 4, my dad owned a gym like that was like 5 miles from where I lived, and a dancing teacher came in and she started teaching class. My mom was like, well, why don't you just, start going? So they had a little kids class, so I started going. I went there for like 3 or 4 years. Then I went to gymnastics. And back and forth to gymnastics, it was like an hour away because the gym was like really great. It was really, really good. And I remember going back and forth every day, and in an hour drive, I would just like, my mom, unlike most moms, would just turn up the radio and we would just sing the whole way. And not that, radio is not really good training for your voice or whatever, but my mom, she could, she realized I could sing. So she's like, why don't we, start, so she brought me to this lady that was at a gym, and she was like, listen to her, because she knew I could sing, but she wasn't really, and she's like, yeah, she can really sing good, you need to start putting her in, like, competitions and stuff. So from then on, I started, singing in competitions and dancing in competitions, and just one thing led to another. Yeah, I sing in church, too. Yeah, I had the church choir. The first time I sang in front of an audience was for my kindergarten graduation. I sang, What Child Is This? It's like a Christian song. And I must have been nervous because my head was turned. I was really young. I was 5. And I had my head turned to the side the whole time. I saw a videotape of it last time I was home. I was so embarrassed. I was like, oh, Lord. My head was like turned to the side like this. And I was like singing like this the whole time because I was so nervous. But it was really, really cute. And I reminded myself so much of my little sister.
When I was little, I didn't say, I'm going to be a superstar. This is what I'm going to do. But I was always doing shows. My friends would come over, and we'd make these big shows, and I was so serious about it, and I was the director, and, we would do stuff like that all the time, and then, when I grew out of that stage, then I just got really involved with just listening to music all the time, and then when I was on the Mickey Mouse Club, and I started performing, and I started singing, that's when I realized, I have a major love for music, and this is what I want to do. Because I just felt like it was here, and that's what I wanted to do. But yeah, there was times when I was younger, when we'd have career day, and I was like, well, I'm going to be a lawyer, or, I would say stuff like that. But I think I always knew here that this is what I wanted to do, what I'm supposed to do.
When I was in the 9th grade, that's when it was in the middle of the year, and I decided I wanted to sing again, and it was really weird that my entertainment lawyer from New York, he called me up and he was like, come to New York. So I had to fly to New York by myself for the day, which is a big deal when you're, like 15. So I flew to New York, and I sang for several different record labels. And it was just really, really nerve-wracking because it was like all these people just staring there looking at you saying, well, I wonder what she can do, And then after that day was over with, it was like, phew, thank goodness. And I flew out that same day. And I totally remember that day because I had shoes on, were like this tall, and I wasn't used to walking in New York. And my manager, Larry, the person I was with, was he's, they walk so fast, and I was like, oh my God. I remember when I got home that night, I was just like, rub my feet, Mom. But anyways, yeah, that's when I left. How did I get into Star Search? Well, actually, they had a little audition in New Orleans, and I went in when I was like really young, before I went even to New York or anything. And I auditioned, and they called me back, and that was a really, really long time ago. I just remember when I was there, it was like my first time to ever be on TV, and I was so young, I really didn't think, I was like 8 years old. No, actually, I was 9. Well, the first time I auditioned, I had a friend, and her name was Britney, too, and we both danced with each other, and we were like, Mom, there's a big open call for the Mickey Mouse Club in Atlanta. We heard through friends. Like, we want to go. And she was like, no, I'm not driving all that way, to Atlanta. So we begged them for like 2 weeks. So finally, like, okay, we'll take you. So we went there, and it was like this huge, open call, and we weren't really expecting anything. And, well, they narrowed it down to like 6 kids, and me and her, we were one of the 6 kids, and the casting director was like, you know what, I think you're too young. And that's when they were hiring people like Carrie Russell. They were like, I think 5 years older than me. And like JC, it was like a, older set of kids. And like, you're too young, but I really think it would be, cool if you went to New York, because I have an agency there that I want you to check out. So we were like, whatever, we went home, and I waited like 6 months before we got the courage to go up there and just experience it, because I'm from a small town, and it's just really unheard of just to up and go to New York. And people were telling my mom, like, you're crazy. We did it, and we went up there, and it was hard at first because I had to make new friends, but something about New York, when you first get there, it's kind of scary, but it kind of grows on you, like the energy and the whole New York thing. I ended up loving it, and I got a job doing an off-Broadway play called Ruthless, and it was based on the movie The Bad Seed. And it was a lot of hard work because I was the main character, and you had to sing, and you had to dance, and you had to act, and it was every night, and it was just like so monotonous. It was just but then I kind of got tired, and I was gonna have to perform on Christmas night. And I was getting, really upset, because I wanted Santa Claus, I wanted to be home with my family, and, I think I was like 11 years old. And, so I told my mom, because she always told me, whenever you want to pack up and just go home, let's do it. So I was like, you know what, I gotta go home, I gotta go home and be with my family again, because I totally missed it. So we packed up and everything, but the day before we left to audition again for the Mickey Mouse Club, they had another audition for it. It was like, this is like 2 years later, and that's when I got it. So I got to go home and experience Christmas. Then I waited like 3 months before I started doing the Mickey Mouse Club. And the Mickey Mouse Club, it was so much fun. It really was. I mean, there was like 20 kids on the show, and I mean, we did it at MGM Studios. So it was like we were right next to Magic Kingdom, and it was just like, it was so cool, because like on our breaks we would just go and ride rides, and it was so easy, really, because you get up at like 9, you do your thing, and then you were off at 6. And I don't know, and I had like a lot of friends, and it was so much fun. I did the show for 2 years, but it was 6 months out of each year that I had to go. So, when we got finished filming, I would get to go home for 6 months and just be, normal. You do have to make sacrifices sometimes for things that you really love. And that's one of them. And I mean, just like that, and just me being away from my family. But I have to say, I would much rather be doing this. I mean, it's either that or, not doing this. So, I mean, I would much rather be doing this.